What's up YouTube? Welcome to my third video on Gamesense and Mario Kart Wii. Our first topic will be hop dodging pals.
Yeah, no pal for you?
I dodged it, bro.
Okay, you're him.
Yeah, Shroom 1. A hop dodge is a frame perfect trick where you execute a drift hop one frame before the pal block hits. To do this, you need to be using manual drift to be able to hop, as well as being on a bike, as you need to be in a wheelie to get enough airtime. This strategy can be extremely useful if you are holding strong items, as being able to take a shortcut, dodge a shock, or even simply red someone when nobody around you has a box can be race changing.
What?
Okay. Even if you don't have any special items, it can be useful to hop dodge a pound first, to then surprise attack second with a backspin behind a turn, as it's unexpected. Aside from the obvious ramps, zippers, and cannons, there are also various courses that have elevation changes where you can increase your airtime to dodge a pal, such as the split path on Grumble Volcano, railing on Daisy Circuit, or the curbs on DK Jungle Parkway, to name a few. You can also increase the window to dodge a pal by bonking off of a wall. I would recommend only doing this if you either have shrooms to recover or you're holding a power item to predict shock, as you lose most of your speed from hitting the wall.
We just saw him get rid of the star, unfortunately. Oh my! What is this guy doing? What? That's insane! What? What? I've never seen that before.
I'm watching like a demonstration of how you can break the game's physics by my man Casper right now. Good
Dude! I'm freaking out!
In the case you fail to time the hop properly, which will be often as the best players can only perform this about 1/3 of the time, you should spam up on the D-pad or shake your nunchuck on landing to make sure you don't fail the pal dodge entirely. This next section is on awareness and simply being aware of threats around you. In this moon view clip, I want to use my shrooms to get to a top position, but I see a player ahead of me with triple reds. If I use my second shroom here, I will be very close to the player with reds throughout the entire hairpin turn, and I will only have one shroom to space out from him, which won't give me enough distance to be safe. Instead, I decide to take a chance on drafting the player in 5th, so I still get a good amount of speed, but not enough to be at a major risk from the guy with triple reds. After the hairpin turn, I have 2 shrooms to get of him before the boost pad section, however I'm still in risk of danger. So I go to the right side to obtain an item box for defense, and actually decide to back, not in the tight line, but wide just before the turn, as it's the fastest and most common line players take in this section. Yes, if my back red misses, I'm very likely to get redded, but my team is in top 2, so I want to play risky to give us a breakaway, as this is a very good running track. Here's the clip at normal speed. On this maple clip, I'm saving this golden for the golden strat at the end of the course, but then I see this player spin with triple reds close to me. Since I know he is a threat, it will be very unlikely I make it to the aforementioned golden strat, so I decide to use my golden immediately after the half pipe to get away from him. This golden strat isn't quite as fast, but is still very good, as this is a very narrow section with normal road and only one boost ramp, which you just shroom over while goldening anyway, and at the end, you even get a chain. If you have an offensive item and see someone tailing you with a thundercloud, just backspin what you have tight as soon as a turn starts. Trust me, you don't want anything to do with that item. On this RBC clip, I end up getting past a thundercloud. Instead of slowing down to safely pass it to an opponent behind me, I decide to draft my teammate to use the extra speed to barrel into first to not only pass the TC, but to give my teammate a breakaway in first place. This next section is on speed preservation. The idea of speed preservation is holding a drift in one portion of a track to go faster in another. The most obvious example of this is on Sherbert Land, as on the ice, Funky Kong has a max speed of 87 km/h, but in the cave section, his max speed is 97 km/h, as the cave has normal road. So, in order to properly preserve your speed, you start a drift before the cave entrance, and then release your mini turbo and wheelie as you transition to the cave, putting you at max speed once you're in the wheelie. This concept also applies to resizing from the shock. In this Delfino clip, I know it will be a close finish between myself and player who just dodged him Bill, so I make sure to hold my mini turbo until I grow, so I can get back up to speed as quickly as possible. If I drove normally, I would have had to re-hop at least twice, and player would have certainly passed right by me. The final section in this video is on alternative driving lines. On DK Summit, the main driving line on this section is to go in between those two moguls, but as I see Jake with a banana, I decided to go in between these two moguls on the left instead, as it can be just as fast when executed properly. Because I get good tricks, I'm able to be first on my screen heading into the double cut. A common misconception about the double cut is that it is impossible to take while being blocked, but that is false. You can actually take the double cut extremely wide to avoid traps with the help of a TF input. On this DDR clip, I see Emil is trailing a banana, so when I land from the rail strat, I opt to drift as wide as possible in case he backspams at the end of the rail. To avoid backspam in your mouth on wall glitch, try starting out the turn going wide, and then go up the zipper a bit early. You can pretty much avoid all backspam this way. You can also take an alternative sandtop method to avoid backspams on the landing. On Toad's Factory, you can take the shrimless cut at a slightly wider alignment to avoid traps in the tight line. RBC is notorious for its vicious backspam spot before the Raging Castle, but there's actually more available room than you might think. If you enter this turn, or any 90-degree turn, wide to tight, you can usually go inside the incoming backspam. However, if a skilled player picks up on what you're doing, they may opt to just block the beginning of the turn. On Waluigi Stadium, the trick to avoiding backspam on the turn before the zipper section is to go extremely tight, like the world record, as most people can't take this line consistently. This can be difficult to execute perfectly though, but as an alternative, you can drive tight and then release your mini turbo as you hit the fence to prevent yourself from bonking back down into the middle of the track. On MC3, the hairpin can be a treacherous spot for backspam. To help avoid it, you can charge a mini turbo early and hop over the dirt to avoid the debris. On Koopa Cape, even with all of these items blocking the tight line, you can still take the pipe strat. In this GV clip, I snipe out second to avoid those ugly third place boxes, and then I'm forced to burn my shroom as I know the player behind with triple reds will want to hit me out. After shock, I end up rolling a lucky shroom in second to take the respawn, and unfortunately I just get absolutely destroyed at the end. Just a reminder to everyone that at the end of the day, we're playing Mario Kart after all, and no matter how many good plays you make during a race, all of it can be for nothing in the end. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something new in this video, and I would appreciate it if you dropped a like and sub to show some support to the channel. And as always, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.